Hancock, clearly suggests you use a new variant, which was the Kent variant, end of 2020, to frighten the pants off everyone.
Matt Hancock, if you're watching this, you are responsible for putting the nation into fear.
Well, morning, folks. How you going? It's Saturday. Bit weird for me on a Saturday morning, but sorry about last night. Sorry about the night before. Last night, I nearly died. Well, it wasn't last night. Yesterday, bloody hot day in Brisbane, and where my room is situated, I get the western sun from about 12:30 every day, and there isn't an awning or anything over this window. I'm surrounded by electrical equipment, and I don't have air conditioning in this room. And yesterday, I think I overheated myself in a really quite bad way. So, I spent a lot of time in here yesterday doing chats and interviews and whatnot with some people. And I had to actually wind up getting out of here twice during one of those 3-hour things yesterday because I was going to faint. So last night I just recovered. That's essentially what happened. So my apologies for that. Thursday night, well, we were working on something special, and that something special is going to happen in about an hour. So 9 o'clock this morning, there will be a Rumble only show, if you like. Jason Burmis, you might remember Jason. He was on the show middle of last year, thereabouts. You might know him from InfoWars or Mel K or a few of the other types that he's been on with. Jason's coming on this morning. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the jabbity jab and a few other things that have popped up in the great United States of America in the last week or so. I'm sure he'll have some very interesting and deep knowledge for us. That's coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. It'll only be on Rumble. 9 o'clock, that's Eastern Standard Time, if you like. Queensland time, 10 o'clock if you're in Victoria or New South Wales. And I think that'll make it 10:30 in South Australia or maybe 9:30 in, I don't know, get all lost here. 9:30 in South Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia will be about 7:30. Is that what I'm getting? I think. I don't know. Time zones, such an interesting thing. Just finished the night shift. Yeah, I died last night. So thanks, Redneck. Yeah. 9 a.m. Queensland time. Yep. That's when we'll get on there, Tash. Thank you. Neil, thanks. I did get a lot of text messages overnight. Thank you to everybody who was worried about me and what's going on. I'm all good. I've got to figure out something to do in this room because I have electrical equipment all around me, monitors, computers, audio gear, TV gear, and it all gives off heat and quite a lot of it. And then this window is just direct facing west. And unfortunately, I just cooked myself a bit yesterday. So that's all it was. So thank you very much for everybody who sent me text messages, sent me emails and all of that. I'm humbled that you would even miss me. So I appreciate it a great deal. Jason Burmis this morning, going to be interesting. We're going to talk all things jabby jab, and there are some interesting things coming out of America about it. Obviously, Dr. Fauci has had a little bit to say in the last week or so. The former head, now retired, if you like, but he is facing an awful lot of questioning at the moment from Congress, and hopefully Jason will have a little bit of an update for us on what's going on there too. There is no great news about Nasara Jassara or anything like that. I'm still sitting on the fence with all of that myself. So we cannot wait for white hats to come and save us. They are working to their own time frame. They have things they have to do, if in fact they are doing anything. So really, we've just got to keep fixing this ourselves. We have to stand up, folks. It's all about standing up, you standing up. It's not about, well, let's use Ricardo as an example. If you listen to what Ricardo says, it isn't look at me, vote for me, although at the moment they're trying to raise votes, obviously, for what's going on in New South Wales. But the message that Ricardo has consistently pushed forward from the first day I recall seeing anything from him has been, you stand up, you have to lead, you have to learn to discern, you have to start taking note of that little inner voice that's advising us. And we've all got one. It's whether or not we choose to listen to it. And I think in part that is what people are saying when they're talking about ascension. You need to be aware of self. And there is that little voice inside you. There might be a lot of little voices inside you. God knows there are a lot of little voices inside me. It's picking the right one. It's learning the strongest voice. And quite often the strongest voice is the quietest voice in your head. So be listening. Be listening. And we have to stand up. We have to stand up. We have to show we are capable of taking control of our own lives, not waiting for somebody to ride in on a white horse or anything else, a white hat, a white plane, a white UFO. I don't care what it is. We have to do whatever it has to be done. We cannot rely on others to do it, folks. So stand up, get ready for that. It's another day, another beautiful day. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your family. I have, in the last few days, heard a number of quite heartbreaking stories from people who have taken the jab. People that I know, good friends, who are very regretful, who were coerced in some cases, and they are feeling the anger now toward that coercion. They didn't want to be part of this whole thing to begin with, and now they are sick. They have been sick since the second jab. One of the partners of one of my friends nearly lost her life to the second jab. I only found out yesterday. So there are signs, folks. There are signs. And there are plenty of folks who have stood up already and will give support to those who want to stand, who want to learn. And that's what Voice of Freedom is about. That's what my place is about. It's about unity, bringing us all together, having us all stand up in our individual way, but then unite together in a very powerful force. My place is going ahead leaps and bounds. We're going to have some more on my place next week. I haven't actually spoken to Darren in a week or so. I know he's been busy. He's had his own court cases. Speaking of court cases, veteran Dan had his cases heard yesterday in the Canberra ACT Magistrates Court. Word that I got from veteran Dan, well, I only saw it this morning. He did send me a text last night, but I was recovering or just asleep. He pled not guilty and was found not guilty on 3 charges yesterday in the ACT court. Apparently on the way out, they slapped him with another one, a contempt charge, which I don't know, haven't heard the background of that. So we'll have to find out what went on there. But all in all, a very good result for Dan in Canberra. And I guess for the Canberra Standards in general. Congratulations to everybody who has stood strong, stood staunch through all of this, haven't caved into the maniacal authorities and the manipulations that they've been placing, particularly on the folks in Canberra. So excellent news, Dan. Really wrapped, mate, that you got what you got, which was not guilty on 3 charges. And, well, I don't know where the contempt came from. We'll try and find out about that later. Facebook user. It's an interesting one. Normally I get a name. So Facebook user. Signing all the petitions that are not for human rights, for our freedoms, calling your local MP and asking them how they're going to vote, letting them know your wishes and demands. Yes, bloody good point. So often our elected representatives seem to forget that we elected them. They pay a lot of lip service to us when they turn up to open whatever it is, an envelope or a school or plant a tree or whatever. But we don't hold them accountable. We don't make sure that they are doing the right thing by us. And that means going and talking to them, sending them letters, ringing them, turning up at their office, turning up in the grocery aisle when they're doing their Saturday morning shopping and having a conversation with them. And if a politician has put themselves forward to act for you in that place, then they should have no problem having a bit of a conversation with you while they're doing the groceries. Get out and ask those questions, folks. Get out and ask the questions of your local council. We've seen my place has had some massive success recently just turning up at council meetings, okay? It makes council very uncomfortable because they're not used to the people actually turning up at a council meeting where they have every right to be and listen to the council making their deliberations, discussing what's best for their area. Now, the reason that the councils are getting upset about that and getting a little antsy about it is because they don't like the scrutiny. They can't have an open discussion amongst fellow councillors if we, the people, are in the council chamber. They can't hide anything from we, the people, if we are in the chamber. So get your groups together, folks. Start attending your local council meetings and start making them responsible for the decisions they're making. That's what My Place is all about. If you can be involved with the My Place and get involved with the council committees in the My Place, then you might also find yourself at the next council elections being in a position where people will support you to go to council. And if you are the good person that, the people at My Place have found you to be, I'm sure, then we know that by electing you to the formal council, you will work for the people, not for the council or the councillors' benefit. That is the key. People have to stand up themselves. Don't be waiting for a white hat to come, charging over the bloody horizon. We would all love to think that that would be the case, but there's no proof. We're seeing examples, and yes, we can read into things, but at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own lives. We cannot sit back and wait. Okay? We cannot sit back and wait. And by this, I don't mean we've got to charge out and overthrow anything. What we have to do is unite as people. Come together, decide what it is that we want, and make sure our politicians deliver it. That's the only reason we have politicians, to work for the people. Unfortunately, our politicians have been bent for the most part. Maybe not all of them, but bloody most of them have been bent, have been coerced, have been blackmailed, have been whatever. They might just be weak human beings who don't have a backbone. Probably a lot of them. So we need to get rid of them, and we need to replace them with people like you, doers, not wannabes. We need doers in our parliaments. And that's leading me, I guess, into the New South Wales election. Ricardo and Dave Graham are both doers. Now, you may not like what they do, but at the end of the day, they will break up the happy little group that runs New South Wales. And that happy little group is Labor and Liberal parties and their associated other flunkies. Now, in the upper house, you're not going to change the lower house election result. They're still going to wind up. One of them is going to wind up in power. What you can do by casting a vote for Bosie or for Guru, voting you above the line, put one in the U box, then what you're doing is putting people's eyes in that place. You will get somebody who will tell you the truth about what they're doing, whether you really want to hear about it or not. They will get to the bottom of it. They will fling the doors wide open, and they will let the people see what filth exists inside there. That's my fervent hope. That is what they say they are going to do. So give them that chance, folks. It could be the moment that changes Australia, because if we can get them into New South Wales, then how many people can we, going forward, get into a federal parliament? So get them. Vote for Bosie, vote for Graham. There are 18 names on that list. You don't have to vote for those two. You can pick any one of the 16 others. And you can make it really easy by just voting one in the box marked U on your ballot paper in New South Wales for the upper house. And that way, the vote will go to you, the party that's going to work for you, or the independents, rather, that are going to work for you. So that's the thing. And yes, justice will come. Have no fear. If we can get people into that place and show the filth and we know what's in the parliament. We just need to see it shown. And I think Bosie and Guru are the ones to show us. Get in there, guys. Vote for you, the U party. Vote in the U box, just number one. Beside the U box in the coming election. It's in New South Wales on the 25th. I've got about an hour or so before Jason Burmis is going to be on. We're going to do a Rumble-only show with that one, folks. So we're going to talk all things jibbity-jab. We might talk financial things. We might talk a couple of other interesting intel bits floating around too. Jason will be loading up for that, and it will go live on Rumble in about 1 hour. It'll start at 9 a.m. That's the theory anyway. Screwed up the time differences the other day. I was sitting up at the wrong time of the day while Jason was asleep, unfortunately. So anyway, we fixed it. We'll sort it out this morning and get him on the air. The Rumble channel is, just go to Rumble and type in Voice of Freedom, and you will find the channel there. Let me just see if I might be able to post up a link if I can find it, because I did set the show up earlier. Yeah, let me have a look here. One second. Got to go to the right screen. We do that. Copy that. Shut that down. All right, I'll post this up in the chat. So this should be the link that will take you straight to the Jason Burmis thing, which will start at 9 o'clock. So I've posted that up in the chat there, folks, if you want it. But yeah, just go to Rumble, search Voice of Freedom, and you should find it sitting there on top. And 9 o'clock this morning, we will get into that. And of course, coming up 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time tonight, we'll have another QSI episode. So we have a lot of questions for QSI this week. Vince and the team have been working pretty hard behind the scenes. So might be an interesting show to watch. And I think that's about all I can say about that at this stage. 6:30 tonight. Watch that. Also, hats. If you are interested in a white hat, please email me, carl@vofhq.com. You will only get a hat, one of these hats at any rate, by emailing me, and I will send you back the appropriate details of how you can pay for it, and we can help out the lady that we're trying to help out. You may have come across one of those trolls who's trying to scam the profits out of those hats for himself. Yeah, great trolls. Wonderful human beings they are when they go and try and rip off someone who's suffering, from cancer at the end of the day. And I'm just appalled that not only would these trolls think it's okay and to rip off, somebody who desperately needs the help, but they would make a joke about it, and they would continue to do it, and they will highlight it. And, I just hope that you guys, you terribly funny little trolls, never suffer something like this, never have the hardship. Although you seem to think that you can go off to the government and get it all for free. As soon as you figure out the government isn't there to fix you, there is one thing everybody needs to understand about government at the moment, okay? A government at the moment isn't interested in fixing you. Government at the moment is only interested in you if you are healthy, if you can work, if you can pay your taxes, if you can give them money. Now, they have taken a little bit of an interest in retirees with a super balance over $3 million. They're going to start pinching that from you. They think that's okay because you're a very small percentage of the people who've got super in that sort of range. But that's okay to take your money, the money you've worked for. That's fine according to Labor. That's not a worry. Well, there are some significant issues with that. And, we're going to talk further about that coming up. But some interesting things next week on that front. And I think if you are at all involved in super at the moment, if you're watching the markets, and if you hadn't thought about starting up a self-managed super fund using your own gold and silver, then I advise you do that sooner rather than later. I've done it. I'm trying to do it at least. I have issues that I face getting myself into this, but I only have a very small amount of super too. So it's not really a life-changing thing for me at all. So that's how small my super balance is. Doesn't matter if yours is a small super balance. You can band together with others. You do want to have a few boxes ticked, and you will get essentially an email from Catherine who will explain the process and where you need to be to be able to take advantage of the process. So if you want to find out if you're in that position, then email me, carl@vofhq.com, and I will put you directly in touch with Cass, and she can explain what's required, what the next step is, and then you get to make the decision. No one forces you to do anything around here. It's your decision. Try and give you as much information as I can on both sides of the argument, and then you get to make the decision. That's what we need to learn, folks, how to make decisions, good and bad. If we make bad, we learn from those bad decisions, and we don't make those decisions again. That's the theory. Don't know that it's worked entirely well in my life 100% of the time. I don't think that is the case, but I am trying, and that's all any of us can do. Try and improve ourselves, try and improve everything that we're doing for our fellow people. We need to unite, folks. Unify. We need to find that unified solution for us all, for us. It's that simple. I'll see you at 9 o'clock. Jason Burmis, going to be interesting. Only on Rumble. Link is in the chat there. And if you can't find that, then just go to Rumble and search Voice of Freedom. You'll find us there.
Ukrainian government is one of the worst in the world. Corrupt, controlled by a few rich people. I mean, really unfortunate for the people in Ukraine.
Yeah, that was when Bill Gates was sort of telling the truth. There's more on that. We've got the backside for that coming up next week, so be watching out for that too. See you at 9 o'clock. Jason Burmis from America, and we'll be talking all things the jibbity jab.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!